agree with my friend. I think the greatest threat to our country is an ideology that supports relativism, an ideology that says there are no absolutes. There really is no right and wrong. It's an ideology that says there's really no personal responsibility. It's an ideology that's supported by the press. It's supported by Hollywood. It's supported by our educational system. And it's an ideology that's destroying our country.
I'd have to say the greatest threat to our republic is a passive and complacent citizenry. We are woke now, and I'm part of the problem, to the point we become apathetic. We got to wake up the rest of the people, here on the east side and on the west side. This is America, for heaven's sakes. We the people, this is our country. All we got to do is wake up and take it back.
And now a quick one, this in 10 seconds, starting with Paul Akers.
Don Benton.
Do I get a chance to answer that question?
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. We hadn't completed the complete thing. Thank you very much. I'm sorry.
The President of the Senate tries to do that to me on occasion, too.
Don't want to go there.
I think unquestionably the biggest threat right now is insurmountable debt. And Patty Murray keeps spending your money as fast as you can give it to her, and she'll finance your future and your children's future and mortgage it to China. And what's going to happen when the mortgage comes due? That's a real threat to this country, and we've got to stop this reckless spending and get it under control immediately.
Now in 10 seconds, starting with Paul Akers, is the Constitution a living document?
Well, it is a living document to the extent that it has the capacity to be amended, so absolutely it is a living document.
No. The principles for which the Constitution stands are timeless. And if over time we can make it mean whatever we want, the Constitution literally means nothing at all.
I would agree with Art. The second we make it a living document is when it starts to die. We don't want our Constitution to die.
I believe our Constitution was a matter of providence, and I think that it's the law of the land, and it is not up for change. It is to be followed. The clarity, the purpose of the content was clear then. The intent is there. We all know what it really means.
No, it is not a living document. Our founding fathers had divine intervention when they put this together. It is not a living document.
Absolutely not. Judges are charged with interpreting the Constitution, not legislating from the bench. I will oppose activist judges, and the Constitution can only be changed through the processes that are laid out in the Constitution.
It's definitely not a living document in the sense that liberals want to define it, but our founding fathers were wise and gave it the ability to adapt with the amendment process, and it does live in the proper amendment process, yes.
Thank you, Craig.
Now a 30-second response, starting with Art Corday, involving what's called the growing nanny state. As an individual earning $10 an hour before city, county, state, and federal taxes, why should I vote for a Republican instead of a Democrat who seems to offer me so much more?
Well, these policies of high taxation, which probably take at least 50 cents on every dollar we earn, have done nothing but increase the cost of living, increase the unemployment rate, increase business and home failure rates, and increase the gap between rich and poor. I don't think those are positive things. I want to cut tax rates to reverse this.
Well, the thing is, there's no such thing as a free lunch. You may think you're getting more with the Democrats, but what you are, in fact, is getting less. It may take 5, 10 years, but you will pay for that. At least with the Republicans, you have a chance for a real future.
I guess I'd say if you're working and earning $10 an hour, there's hope for you, as opposed to being on welfare or some other sort of subsidy. I think that if you're in it for the short term and you're only interested in tomorrow, maybe you should vote for a Democrat to come along and take care of you. But if you're interested in your future, you better listen to the conservatives.
Benjamin Franklin said, "Those who would trade liberty for security deserve neither liberty or security." That's the problem here, folks. They're trying to give you a guarantee when in essence they're stealing your liberty and your freedom. Wake up. There's no guarantees in life. This country was founded on rugged individualism, self-reliance, and personal responsibility.
The Democrats say, rely on the government. That's an empty promise. I say rely on yourself. Not only will the Democrats take more of your $10 an hour, but they'll make it more difficult to succeed with ever-increasing regulations and more difficult to earn more with ever-increasing taxes. We need to give every American the freedom and the opportunity to work hard and succeed based on their own commitment, motivation, and discipline. Self-reliance is what made this country great, and it will make it great again.
I don't see this as a Republican-Democrat issue because I've seen both Republicans and Democrats promise things they couldn't deliver all my life. And I was taught that you don't get something for nothing. We need to walk the talk as fiscally responsible Republicans to earn the trust of the American people again. We lost it because we didn't do what we said we'd do. It's time to establish the Republican name as one of integrity going forward from this day. Thank you.
Well, the issue is the labels are irrelevant. Democrat, Republican, the Republicans have done almost as bad as the Democrats have. We need authentic leadership. That is what we are in search for. We need leaders who have a proven track record, who have demonstrated time and time again that they stick to their principles and are consistent with what they do and how they live their life. When we find that kind of leader, we will solve our problem. And let's hope that will be a Republican.
Another 30-second response now, please, beginning with Daniel LeBlanc. Recent federal law compels citizens to purchase goods and services from federal government-approved sources. It further compels citizens to surrender personal information to government appointees. What should citizens do in the face of such tyranny?
The citizens need to wake up and get engaged. I think that's the biggest thing. This is selling out our liberties, and we need to all pay attention to this, talk to our friends and neighbors, and vote these people out that are backing these kinds of proposals, and get people in there that will abide by the Constitution and keep our freedoms and liberties.
Well, I think the Declaration of Independence is the doctrine that applies here. It says, in the course of time, in the course of human events, and it goes on to say that perhaps we need to separate ourselves. And if it comes down to it, we need to rebel. We absolutely need to rebel. If the tyranny goes on, it's our only choice.
We must protect our individual liberty as our highest political value. When we are forced to buy government goods, we have lost our individual liberty. This is Charlton Heston's quote: "The American dream is not success or riches, it's freedom. Freedom to choose as you wish to do.